Don't go to Dudleytown, Connecticut. This is not a prank, it's not a stunt, it's not clickbait, it's the truth. Dr. William C. Clark and his wife Harriet were driving slowly through a beautiful part of northwestern Connecticut called Litchfield County. And the Clarks were there to try to scout out an area to build their second home. And high up on this mountain was this huge, shaded, beautiful forest. And they saw there was a road that appeared to kind of spider off and go into these woods. Now, the couple had no idea what was up there, but it was just so beautiful, and they were immediately so drawn to it that they decided they would go check it out. And very quickly, as they began climbing up this hillside, the road became very bumpy and overgrown. And so before they even reached the tree line, Dr. Clark had to pull the car over and park it on the side of the road. And then he and Harriet got out, and then on foot, they continued up towards the forest. And then up ahead, they saw there was this field off to the side of the road that was full of all these wild apple trees growing in all different directions. This forest was sitting on a hillside, and the hillside, which was made up of rock, had mica inside of it. And mica is a kind of mineral that when sunlight hits it, it almost looks like it's shimmering. By the time the couple had turned around and begun heading back to their car, they had already made up their mind that they were going to build their second home in that forest. It was called Dark Entry, and it was named that because it looked like from the outside, the forest was basically dark all the time. At one time, there actually had been a town inside of Dark Entry Forest. However, all the people who had lived in that town were now all gone. The only remnants of this town were a couple of crumbling stone walls and a couple of home foundations that were scattered about the Dark Entry forest floor. The Clarks had seen some of these ruins as they walked along this overgrown path through the forest, but they weren't concerned. Instead, they felt like these ruins actually added some charm to the forest. After the land purchase was finalized, Dr. Clark began looking for local builders in Connecticut who could help him build this second home inside of Dark Entry Forest. But no matter how much money he offered these local Connecticut builders, they all said no. Now, none of them gave a straight answer to Dr. Clark about why they were turning him down. So Dr. Clark just kind of assumed that, hey, this project is not huge. It's just one house. And the forest is pretty isolated and hard to get to. And so he thought, probably these builders think it's not worth the effort. He decided he would just build the house himself. First, he cut down this massive swath of hemlock trees on this one flat patch of his land. And then with all this lumber he had cut down, he built his rustic 2-story cabin on this flat part of his land. Dr. Clark built a swimming pool with beautiful mossy embankments right up against this brook, so he could sit there and watch the fish. By Thanksgiving of that year, the cabin was done.